Okay, we can start with the second talk. We have Fabio Grasso, that will show us how to ship MVP faster with Streamlit. Enjoy.
Almost. Thank you, Cesare. Thank you, everyone. I want to start with a simple question with Streamlit. We will not see any more code, just a bit, so feel a bit relaxed. And the question is, can Streamlit help on your project, showing your project? So I'm asking if on your day job, how Streamlit could help you. Imagine, for example, you are a data scientist for a food company, and they ask you to help with the food delivery. Maybe they want to improve the delivery system of food. So, for example, classify if if they are delivering the correct item or not. So let's pick as an example a dog. So you are data scientist, and what you can do is building an image classification system that could detect if there is an hot dog or not, so they could correctly deliver that hot dog. And you could do a bit of research, you read the latest research about machine learning models, then you come back with a good model. So you go to your boss and say, hey, we have a good model with 95% of accuracy, so why not deploying? And also, you show all that fancy metrics like precision, recalls, all the stuff that make a good model, that validate that is a good model. But your boss understands that you have done a good work, but you have some doubt about how we can show to the other colleagues, how we can show to your teammates, to the stakeholders that this is a good model, this could be helpful. So can we use something that allow the other testing the model, testing the system? Since you are just a data scientist, you code in Python, you don't have, you are not familiar with JavaScript, so building UI is nothing for you familiar, but we have Streamlit, so we could create a simple app with just 40 lines of code. In this example, imagine you have built the PyTorch model or an Hugging Face pipeline. You just need to import your pipeline in your code. Maybe you add a title, add some columns, and adding an upload image. You have an app with just these few lines of code that allow people to load an image and say, yeah, this is a dog, this is not our dog. So this is an example taken from Hugging Face, but it's what I used to done in my job since many years now. But I also wanted to show that you can also build tools that you are using every day. So I imagine, for example, how many times have you need to compare text, to compare a JSON with another. So maybe you go online, you go for a diff checker like this. This is the first website that I used to compare text, and this works. This is not extremely, but this works. But what if your favorite online tool is not anymore available, or maybe is not anymore free, or even bad? You have some data that are sensible. So what you can do, if you have this framework, with this framework, you can build yourself a diff checker with just this was an example that with 30 lines of code, you can check the code on the repository. It took me like 10 to 20 minutes to build like this, but you have the same tool that maybe you are using every day in your day job. So what I want to show you is that you can use Streamlit to building tools for your project, for your teammates, but also for building your tools that are using every day. Like early this year, I needed to convert Pandas dataset, Parquet dataset, so I needed to convert in different formats. Why not build an app with Streamlit that help me help me convert fast instead of using Jupyter Notebook every time. Or, for example, base 464 encoding, decoding, how many times have you done this operation? So you maybe could build your tools that you need every day. You could push in your repository, then you have an online application. And we will see later how to also deploy. But we can go a bit further. So we could ask, what if I can replicate an app? So is it possible? How far we can go with Streamlit? This year I had the desire to listening to only the music, to only the instrumental part of the music. So, for example, songs without the voice. And I found out that there are many online services, but as you can imagine, they are not free. So every time you upload a song, maybe you need to pay. And I was doing a bit of research how this technology works. So there are some open source model or not. In fact, there are many open source models that separate the music in different stems. One of the most famous is built from the Facebook research team. It's called the music source separation. It's a good model that allow you to isolate the stems, so only the voice or only the instrumental part of a song. It's an architecture built on transformers, neural network, and so on. So I think that it works. Why not creating a new UI with Streamlit and put the model inside? So this was the first idea, and what I was able to replicate at the first time was a music source splitter, I call it like this, where people can just upload an URL and also uploading a file, but also recording an audio. Maybe you are on mobile, you want to record an audio from live music. And this, for example, is a component, a custom component for the community. So we don't have all the widget. We have also custom component created from other people's. But we could replicate a simple MVP where you also can show some example. You can put some link. And what happens is that if you have an app that is up and running, people give you some feedback because this is open source, so everyone can also contribute, can tell you if there is something they want more, or maybe just to say, hey, this is good. So after a few months, I was happy because I also this app becomes app of the month in the Streamlit blog. So I was a bit encouraging on doing something more. Also, a Streamlit advocate that is share the application on Twitter. Give me a lot of people that contact me about how can we add this feature, can we do this. Also, people that wanted to making simple contribution, and the best feedback usually comes also from your friends or even from your family, because I show the app to my mom and they say, can I put the YouTube link inside this app and play a karaoke? So this wasn't possible because it's just an app that you upload a file or maybe a MP3 URL. But I was imagining that maybe this could be something that we could experimenting, we could do. And with this last feedback, I decided to go on. So I started again. Let's see if there are any other models. I wanted to add voice, drums, bass, guitar, piano separation. So I wanted to research some other models. In fact, there are even Facebook created other models that separate up to 6 stems. And also I wanted to create a karaoke experience. So imagine having a Streamlit app and having your favorite song and play a karaoke. It's a bit hard. In fact, it was hard. But after a few weeks or maybe a few months, in Moseka was born, and it's a refreshed UI. I decided to making something different to the usual Streamlit app. In fact, I use Streamlit option menu, that is another custom component I reuse multiple times. I also added pages that is a different that is different from the previous that is very simple. But here I also wanted to show examples, already pre-computed examples where people can choose the separation mode, so multiple models to select, and also the karaoke page that was harder to do, but with a bit of workaround, we could request YouTube songs. So here there is a search box where you could search for a YouTube song, select your songs with lyrics maybe, and then after you confirm, it starts the vocal removing process. So all of this, it happens inside the app, inside the application. So this is just for the demo purpose, but it is possible. Is it possible even with Streamlit only? And you can find the code on the repository. And what happens? What maybe you are asking now, where to show and also for free this application, since now we have seen a Streamlit app that embed machine learning models. Maybe it's interesting to know if there are some options to host this heavy application. So as you can imagine, you can Dockerize on your machine, but this is not convenient since you don't have your laptop. You can't expose to public your laptop forever. But there is the option mentioned before, that is Streamlit Cloud, that offer for free how many apps you want, open source apps, and give you 1 GB of memory. But the best for me option was using the Hugging Face space, because it gives you two CPU with 6 GB of memory. So we are now handle the model. We could run the model, and you can create how many Hugging Face space you want. But there is still another option that is a bit interesting, because if you have a machine learning model, maybe you need a GPU. So the last option, it's using Google Collaboratory, because it gives you a GPU. It's not up and running forever, but for a few hours, you could see how to, you could test your application. You could maybe separate thousands of tracks and have a GPU for free. That is very generous in this case. So let's have a demo time. This time, I don't have I don't have much code, but we will go on the repository of Moseka. And in this repository, I already wanted the people to feel like they can easily deploy the application with one click. So I added the button for deploy on Hugging Face, or maybe pull with a Docker image. But there is this option, open in Collab, that give you a nice Jupyter notebook. You just need to check that the Google Colab runtime is a GPU, so in this case it's an NVIDIA GPU, and just run all the steps, because they are just change runtime. Now it can connect with GPU, but maybe because I tried many times today.
Try using the other GPU on the keyboard.
Sorry?
There's another GPU.
E100 is paid, right? It's not free.
Yeah.
The other runtime, the other are not paid.
Yeah, you need to, you can use the TPU, but it's not the same. So let's just use the CPU and try to run all. Imagine that this was that is a GPU. Usually they give you a few hours per day. So maybe because I ran it before, I don't have much GPU. But if you If you use the Collab Pro, that is the monthly paid version, they give you more and more GPU, and even a runtime up to 24 hours. So maybe if you are interested in this. What's this? What's in this notebook? We have we are just installing the repository, so we git clone the repository, install the requirement, create an environment, and we are ready. The next step is activating the environment, so and the application. But there is a nice tool called npx local tunnel that allow you to expose your machine to the public. So it gives you an IP address with a domain, and you can test. So you can share this URL with everyone. In the meantime, that the app is completed, we could check how does it look like on Hugging Face. So this is the private version on my Hugging Face. You can clone the public version. It's the same. I just use the private so that I don't have many people, many users that will crash the app. We will see that we have multiple free pages, and the one to separate the karaoke pages. You can search here on YouTube. You can even have a random song that are already pre-computed on the build image, so are faster. The vocals are already pre-computed. But also there is an about page, because I wanted to explain how that works in simple terms, these apps, and also how you can easily deploy with one click this application. Is it free if you want to propose a feature, or maybe a pull request and so on. So what we will see now, we have examples. We can upload a file. It's the classical Streamlit widget from URL. And here we can choose the separation mode. I can show you like an example that are already pre-computed, like the famous Dancing Queen. I don't know if there is the audio. Like this is the original song. And here I can select the separation mode. So I use the high quality model that comes from Facebook. And maybe you want to add only the vocals. And when you get the chance, you are the dancing queen. Or if you like me, you are more interested to the instrumental part of the music, you have only the song without vocals. But what's better is even looking around the drums or bass. So maybe you want to listen only the drums. And you can do for every song moreover have the same quality. So sometimes maybe new songs with some strange vocals made by computer, maybe they are not clearly cutted, but usually it's a good model. There are, if you are interested in this kind of models, there are competition every year about music source separation, and this kind of competition usually offer open source models. Now this year there are very quality, very good models. And yeah, this is the part of on Hugging Face. The karaoke, we could also play a karaoke if you're interested. Like here, I play just a random song that it's already pre-compute. Now, it was hard to managing the events for clicking the user that click on the button of play, and we need also to show we need also to show the lyrics. So in the meantime, we show the embedding YouTube URL with the audio that is separated. if you have some issue, you could try also to anticipate the lyrics or the restart of the players. As you can see, sometimes in this model, since it's the vocal remover, it's a bit the quality is a bit lower than the Facebook model, but for the demo works. Happy?
Mom was happy too.
My mom was happy to play a karaoke. Yeah. So let's see if it works, the collab. As you can see, now we should have the application up and running on our Collab, because the last step tell you that you need just to pass the IP address on this domain. They give you a random domain for you. And if we are lucky, the application will run on Google Collab. Yes. For this example, I didn't I didn't build the whole image, so with the pre-compute songs, because it will take a lot. So you just have the application, or you can upload a file, you can play a karaoke, but you don't have just the example. So let's go back to the presentation. What I want to mention is also that this application, it will take some time to build more complex application, but when you expose your code, when you release something like this open source, maybe other people can give you a feedback, you learn a lot of things, but also people can contact you because maybe they wanted to create something with your application. In fact, I was contacted from another mobile developer that he wanted to create an app for iPhone, and we are collaborating. It's still in early development, but we have an app published on the App Store, and we see some kind of users, so it's still using the same technology, so the music model and so on, but for this case it's just a sing-along app version. And what I wanted to show, the next project is still something under development, but the question is, can we build an MVP for maybe a software, a SaaS service as a software application, so something more complex. Months ago, I started thinking about buying an apartment, an house, and I also wanted to know about the real estate market for Airbnb. So maybe you are evaluating, is it convenient renting on Airbnb? Is it convenient buying an house and maybe put on Airbnb? So since I have a bit of data science background, I started researching about this data, Airbnb data, and again I thought, why not build an application that helped me to evaluate the market of Airbnb, but also maybe other people are interested. So after collecting data for different sources, I decided to build a more complex architecture. So this is different for what we have seen in Mosaica, that we have just an app. We are talking about an architecture, a classic architecture, where we have a backend, where we usually have a pipeline, where we wrangling data, create a model, and also expose an API that serves all of this. So imagine you having your training model, your pipeline that creates the regression model. That in this case, it's about how much you can earn on Airbnb. So my goal was creating a model that estimates the nightly rate, and I wanted also to show the similar property to the users. So I create an API that serves both the model and the similar property, and now we are using Streamlit as a front end, as a fast going to the market, fast iterate the product as a front end. And I want to show how this look and feel is still under development, so I don't have a website for this, but we could see how does it look like. Maybe we are able to create a modern front end with a nice widget. This, for example, is called Stylize component. It comes from an external developer that built this fancy tool, and you want to create a website, basically a landing page where you show people what your app is doing. So maybe you also want to tell how does it works, what kind of model, and also you want to add a call to action button. All of this is in Streamlit, and here I wanted to I want to make the user faster to test with an address. Like I put an example address like Viale Monza, Milano. And again, here we are in another page loaded with Streamlit. We have the Streamlit map that they provide us. I wanted the user that he confirmed that this is the correct address. Then maybe you are asking, you are interested to asking some features about the house. If you need to estimate an house from a small apartment is something different. So maybe you want the user to select if there is an apartment, how many bedrooms, if there are some beds, 2, 1 more bed, and so on. But if you need feedback, you also need some questions. So another page, another Streamlit page with some question. So are you an Airbnb host? No. Are you interested in becoming an Airbnb host? Maybe yes. And then you could ask a name, but also an email, because you wanted to send later the report that you want to provide. So I put an example email. And what you should provide is an estimation, should be a report. I imagine a funnel where the user will get the estimation value, how much they can earn every month. And I wanted to add some fancy widget like an expander where I explain how this is calculated. But I wanted to show similar property to the map, to your house. And also, thanks to Streamlit Volume, another component, you can build map like this. So interactive map where you can check your neighbors that are hosting on Airbnb, your comparables, so other houses that are similar to yours that you can even check on Airbnb, because you could add a button. And this is almost what you want to provide. Then maybe some stars. So we have another component where we could provide a feedback, and that's it. We could, again, create a new estimation. We could go back on the home, and we have an MVP of of a modern website, web app. So you can see if their users are interested in this kind of application. And then you can go further with JavaScript, all the robust stuff to build website and web app. And that's all. Thank you very much.
So, have you think about having a beer after this meetup? It's okay for you. So, thank you, Fabio, for your talk. It was very interesting. Questions? Any questions for Fabio? You have a question?
How does the integration with like custom things work? Like, do you need to install something else, or like if other people in the communities custom stuff, how do you integrate them into your thing?
Yeah, usually when you create a custom component for Streamlit, you packaging in the usually packaging of Python. So when you want to integrate, like you have seen the stars, there is a component called Streamlit stars. You just pip install, and then it will be easy to import, like any library.
Any other question for Fabio? Don't be shy.
What was the most difficult part that you had to bash your head with Streamlit in one of those two apps?
Yeah, as I mentioned, the music application was like creating the karaoke interaction, synchronizing the two sources, so the embedding YouTube with the audio that is splitted. It was very hard because the component is quite good, the component for the YouTube embedding, but it's difficult to synchronize. So after a while, I tried to figure out that I need like 2 seconds on the median device, but I also wanted people to have a slider so they can adjust better the karaoke.
How much is it difficult to develop a new custom component, because you were using a lot of them?
Yeah, all these components are just built from the community, so you find a lot of components, custom component. What I show you is something that I reuse the component. Sometimes I need some CSS to make a bit more cool, but I reuse a lot of components to make this appeal.
I mean, to build them, which frameworks at least you should know?
To build a component. Well, there are some components that you maybe need to know a bit of the JavaScript, because they reuse other JavaScript, other React component or Vue component, but usually it's not. You don't need any knowledge of that. So usually in the React component, you have the page where they explain you how to install. And then you need just to map the argument of JavaScript to Python. Most of the components works like this.
So, another question.
Hello. I arrived just the middle of the talk, sorry. So my question is, since you now mentioned React components and Vue components, the question is, can you create components for Streamlit with any technology that is web compatible?
Maybe I didn't get. So you are mentioning if we could wrap any custom component like from React. Yeah, basically what I've seen in the community, they can easily wrap the React component, so adding the interaction, adding the event that comes out from the React component. So there is no limit. You need time to maybe wrap to connect all the arguments and see if it works. But usually people bring the web component from other framework, other language like JavaScript.
Okay. So, beer